Welcome parents and caregivers to the information video and detailed summary of the student-led conferences that are coming up for all of our Year 5 and 6 boys in a short while. The second round of parent-teacher interviews for both grade 5 and 6 will take a different format this term, and they are in the shape, as I said, of a student-led conference that basically means that there's an extended conversation between an adult at home and the boys, and it gives the kids an opportunity to really have a deep look at their learning and reflect on things that have happened in term 1 and term 2 and to set some clear goals going forward. The conversation should last for around about 20 minutes, but it could possibly vary from family to family. The boys have been prepared for these conversations by their class teachers, and all of the documents that support the conversation have been saved to their desktops, so they're easily accessible. But some boys are obviously going to be more confident than others, or some parents might ask more conversational questions than others, and that might make some of the conversations go for longer than 20 minutes, and certainly some of them might be a little bit short. The reason that we go to this format instead of a traditional conversation between just a teacher and a parent is to give the boys an opportunity to be at the very centre of the conversation. So instead of two adults discussing how the boys have performed in class and maybe even talk about some of the things that could change going forward, we feel that it's really important for the boys to take some ownership over their learning and to also, I guess, be a little bit reflective about things that have gone well and maybe even set some goals for themselves going forward. It also gives us an opportunity to use different data sources to identify any gaps that might exist between student achievement and also their natural capacity. So we gather data from different types of external testing such as NAPLAN and PAT testing that we do here at school, or potentially even some information that we've collected before the boys started, and compare that to their academic performance from school-based assessment and see if, like I said before, there are any opportunities to either bridge some gaps or maybe even just to celebrate some achievement and some success. The final part of the process is also a chance for the boys to set some clear and achievable goals for ways to improve, or potentially even just things to continue for semester 2 and moving forward. The documents that will get used to support the conversations will include a self-report card. So teachers have asked the boys to complete a self-report card in the last week of term 2. Where they've been asked to either use knowledge that they have from Student Cafe and Parent Portal with results that they know they achieved in term 1, and also, I guess, have some awareness around potential results that they've been able to achieve from recent assessment completed at the end of this term. There's an opportunity to then use the report card that the teachers have compiled over semester 1 and make some comparisons. And then there's an external data summary sheet that, as I mentioned before, will include things like NAPLAN data and PAT-M, which is for mathematics, and PAT-R for reading, that all of the boys have already taken part in this year. And if your son's in Year 6, he would have also done some of that standardised testing last year also. So it's a good chance to, I guess, track any trends that might be occurring there as well. And then the last document is one that you can compile together, but certainly one that hopefully the boys have a lot of say in, and that is setting themselves some goals for semester 2. And as I mentioned, all of those documents are saved on a separate folder to the boys' desktop so that they're very easy to find and access, and they'll follow a fairly seamless sort of a transition from phase to phase as well. With regards to the format in terms of time for the interview, each of the sections will probably take around about 3 or 4 minutes. So there's a step-by-step video to follow this introduction that will actually walk you through each of the phases. And you simply just need to watch one section of the video where it asks you to pause and engage with your son in a particular section. You can then just push play again when you're ready to continue and move on to the next part. But it is roughly around about 20 minutes. And as I said before, the boys have certainly been prepared for these. And we encourage parents to follow up and ask some questions as well, particularly with things maybe that you're not sure about, or things that you might think that the boys have either misunderstood or got wrong. All of the home class teachers will be available in that calendarised time sent out through college communications. They will be there to assist with any clarification or answer any questions that you might have coming from this conference, or even part of the conversation might include some follow-up from things that you wanted just to check on from semester one. In many cases, if the process runs as smoothly as we hope and as it has in the past, you may not feel like you need to contact your son's teacher, and that is perfectly fine. They will be available on Teams, email, and phone during that time slot, making sure that if you do have a question or you do want some further clarification around something, that you can send it through to them and they will respond to you within that window of time. The conversations that will happen are, I guess, tied in as well with the school initiative of putting the boys at the centre of the learning conversations that they will have moving forward. So as they move into middle school and into senior school, there are lots of opportunities for them to sit and do mentoring meetings, some of them with parents, some of them just with an academic mentor here at school. And by giving them this exposure nice and early, and also taking that deeper look at their learning over an extended period of time, hopefully sets them up well to keep engaging in similar processes to this going forward and allowing them to achieve the very best that they can. Just the closing remarks or final reminders are around the opportunity for you to make contact with your teachers if you need to. They are available and certainly very willing to clarify any questions and answer any follow-up detail that you may need. But this conversation and this conference is really an opportunity for the boys to step up and take that lead in the conversation. It's important for them to reflect on their learning and also, I guess, to explain to you some of the different mechanisms that might be influencing their achievement here at school. And what we're hoping for, obviously, is a really good synergy between their external data that, I guess, reflects their capacity, their school-based achievement, and bringing those two things nicely together to give an accurate reflection of where they're at. And also, as I mentioned earlier, an opportunity to set some really good, clear goals for semester 2 this year, and developing those really strong learning habits as they move into middle and senior school. So following this little introductory, the next voice or the next part of the video that you will hear is Katie Jordan, who will walk you through step by step each of the different phases of the conference. And as I mentioned, she will certainly say to you at the end of this part, take 2 or 3 minutes to work through this section with your son and then push play again when you would like to continue your conference. You are welcome to engage in that any time that suits your family, and I guess if 1 or 2 people are available to support your boys in that or your sons in that conversation, that would be fabulous. But the video is certainly available from now, and you can engage in the conference at a time that suits your family, and certainly contact your son's teacher in that calendarised time slot if you do have anything to follow up. We hope that you find the extended conversations and conferences really beneficial. We hope that the boys definitely do step up and take the lead in that conversation, and that they have a successful semester 2, building on the goals that they set at the end of this process. Thank you.
This PowerPoint will guide you through the process for student-led conferences and will introduce and explain each new section. The student-led conference will follow a 4-phase structure. Together with your son, you will examine and discuss his self-report card, semester 1 report card, external data summary, and goal-setting process. In the folder saved to your son's computer desktop, there are a number of documents that will support the conversation. Please note, however, that your son's semester 1 report card is not saved on his desktop. Rather, you will need to log on to Parent Lounge to access this. You will be prompted to pause the video at the end of each section to have the conversation. Simply press play again when you are ready to move on. You can pace the conference for yourself to ensure you have enough time to complete each section. This will vary from family to family. We will provide screenshots on the screen as well, so that you can see the documents to which we are referring for each section. Student self-report card. This is a simplified version of the Semester 1 report card, where your son was asked to predict his results and engagement levels in each of the subject areas at the end of Term 2. In most cases, the boys would have a very realistic picture of where they sit, and their predictions would have been very accurate. They might have kept a record of results from Term 1 assessments or viewed results on Student Cafe or Parent Lounge, as well as having a good idea about the quality of the work they submitted at the end of Term 2. In some cases, the boys might have just had a guess. They might not have used the information available to them to track progress closely. We encourage them to use Student Cafe in the future to keep an eye on their results progressively. Please have a good look at the results and engagement ratings that your son predicted. You might ask him how he made those predictions and ask questions about particular subjects if you like. Please pause the video now and press play when you are ready to continue. This might take 3 or 4 minutes. Semester 1 report card. The next document is the Semester 1 report card completed by the teachers. The information presented here includes your son's grades and engagement ratings, with the added detail of the cohort distribution table that shows where your son's results place him within the year level. You would have viewed these reports on Parent Lounge over the holidays. You might like to compare these to the ratings that your son predicted. It is a good opportunity to look for the consistency or differences in these scores and to have a conversation about these with your son. If they are similar, that is good. It would indicate that the boys have good awareness of their learning and achievement. If they vary significantly, it is a good opportunity to ask why that might be the case. Example questions to guide your discussion include: are you keeping track of your results? Are you using feedback from your teachers? Are you working as hard as possible? Please pause the video now and press play when you are ready to continue. This might take around 3 to 4 minutes to complete. External data summary. The information on the next document provides information from external testing the boys complete over time. This information might be new to the boys and to parents. Each year at Laurie's, the boys complete PAT testing in both reading and mathematics. PAT stands for Progressive Achievement Tests. They are conducted by the Australian Council for Educational Research, also known as ACER. These tests assist in tracking growth over a 12-month period using a standardised test. More than half of the schools across Australia use PAT tests, so the information and data collected is very useful and assists staff with planning. NAPLAN tests are completed every second year in years 3, 5, 7 and 9. These are national tests designed to measure student progress, and they assist schools with delivering the national curriculum. The external data summary page shows a number of tables with data from external testing. The first table displays NAPLAN data collected in Year 3 and Year 5. Above the table, you can read about the bands and where they place students in the national cohort. The data component of the first table shows your son's level of achievement and the pattern of his performance. We have added in Year 3 data if it was sent to Laurie's when he started here. If the Year 3 section isn't recorded, we did not receive a copy of your son's Year 3 NAPLAN when he started. We can add it into his profile if you send it in to the primary office. The next tables refer to the PAT test data collected. PAT testing is conducted approximately every 12 months to measure skills in reading and mathematics. In the table, you can read about the Stay9 scores and where they place students in the national cohort. The second part of the table shows your son's level of achievement, Stay9 score, and the pattern of his performance. When you pause the video, have a good look at the results and read the descriptions. You might like to compare these results to his school report, which makes judgments about achievement based on your son's internal assessments. It is a good opportunity to look for the consistency or differences in these scores and to have a conversation about these with your son. If there are significant differences, it might indicate one of the following: that your son relies on his teacher or other adults, such as a parent or tutor support for assessment tasks, that he doesn't have access to with PAT and NAPLAN. He might get anxious or not put in the same effort with external testing. Or he might have capacity or natural ability and could work a bit harder on school assessment tasks. Please pause the video now and press play when you are ready to continue. Goal setting. The final phase of the conference allows for parents and boys to jointly construct some challenging, realistic, and targeted learning goals. You should use the format of the SMART goal for this. Some additional resources have also been saved in your son's desktop folder to assist with the goal setting process. The learning goals could be connected to study or learning habits, or could be connected to attitudes, behaviours, and routines. Please pause the video now. Take as long as you need to develop some goals and press play when you are ready to continue. That is the end of the student-led conference. We hope you found the information helpful and the process positive. We hope the boys were confident in discussing the different components, and most importantly, that he can identify areas to be proud of from semester 1 and areas to target in semester 2 for further improvement. Thanks for participating, and feel free to email your son's home class teacher to clarify any information covered during the conference.